I'm addicted to challenges, guys. What can I say? Welcome back, guys. If you're new here, my name is Becca and I make videos about low-waste intentional living, cleaning, organizing, and other things that add value to my life, and I do that in hopes that it will also add value to yours. So one thing that I thought would add value to my life is doing yet another challenge. So as you know, the month of January, I did the No Spend January challenge. That went well. A few years ago, my boyfriend and I challenged some family members to do the Zero Waste Challenge. The Zero Waste Challenge lasted for a week, and it was us just competing to see who could create the least amount of plastic waste, and spoiler alert, I won. Oh yeah. I didn't think that I was very competitive until I did that challenge, and I was like, I'm gonna nail this. It was a lot of fun. So anyway, last month, the month of February, I did yet another challenge. Surprise! I did the Use It Up challenge. You've probably heard of the pantry challenge, and that's where you use up all the food in your pantry, fridge, freezer, whatever, before you go out and buy more food. So the Use It Up challenge is very much like that, except it is going beyond the kitchen. It is going throughout your house, maybe even to your job or wherever you can. Whatever you can do to use up things before you bring more things into your life, that's what you're doing. Let's talk about a few things that I did for the month of February for the Use It Up challenge. I tried to use food from my garden and as well as what was already in my fridge, freezer, and pantry and spice cabinet before I purchased any more food. I did find some spinach and beets in the back of my refrigerator that were starting to get a little sad, and I was like, all right, I'm doing this challenge. I cannot have any excuses. I hate food waste. So I boiled up the beets and I made a beet and spinach saute salad type of thing, which is pretty good. We had harvested some spaghetti squash from our garden several months ago, and I guess neither of us really felt like we were in the mood for spaghetti squash, but again, Use It Up challenge. I took the spaghetti squash and I took some tomato sauce and some carrots and celery that were kind of sad. I cut them up, put them in water, let them sit overnight, and it kind of crisped them up. So I used that celery and the carrots and the tomato sauce and some other things that we had already in our pantry and fridge, and I threw it all together and made a pretty good tomato sauce with the spaghetti squash. I also used up some household cleaners, or attempted to use up some household cleaners. Some of them I'm still working on, but a while back I had bought a few different kinds of sustainable household cleaners. And I did that, one, because I was trying to figure out what cleaner I liked the best for myself, but I also wanted to make a video reviewing all these different sustainable brands. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I have a bunch of these random household cleaners that needed to get used up. Right now we use Drops dishwasher pods, and I like them a lot, but I also had some Clean Cult and Blue Land dish detergent tabs that were being unused because I was using the Drops. I have a subscription, but I paused the subscription and I was like, nope, I'm gonna get through all of these first, so I'm using those up right now. I don't know if you guys remember, a few months ago I did a video comparing your regular prices to sustainable prices, and I found this cute little shop in Phoenix called the Desert Refillery. Well, I got some really amazing smelling laundry detergent from there that I hadn't used up for some reason, but I made myself use that up instead of going on to my larger packages of Drops. I still have some old cleaners from before my zero waste journey. So I have some Pledge and Method window cleaner, and so I made an effort to use those up.
I diluted the last little bit of my Clean Cult all-purpose cleaner. It's pretty soapy, so watering it down didn't hurt. Before getting more liquid dish soap, I wanted to use up this broken bar of dish soap that I bought on Etsy a while back. I'm not a huge fan of dish soap bars. I think I prefer the liquid. But anyway, for the sake of this video and for the sake of the challenge, I decided to use up this bar soap just to get it out of the way, because it's been sitting under my sink taunting me and making me feel guilty for not using it up. So here we go. I used it up. I don't know if this counts or not, but I also went to the eye doctor, and my eye doctor gave me these eye drops that he said were going to expire in the month of March. So he was like, hurry up and use them up. And I was like, well, that's pretty funny because I'm doing a use it up challenge. And this I feel is a combination between the use it up challenge and the January no spend challenge, because I was really wanting to buy myself an audiobook that I was interested in, but I looked around and was like, I have a bunch of physical books here that I still haven't read all the way through. So I made myself sit down and read books that I already have instead of going and buying a new one.
I did have to go grocery shopping a couple times because I'm on a very strict diet. If you guys have not heard me mention that 1,000 times in my videos before, but there are certain ingredients that I need to keep on hand because they're like staples for this diet, and I can't just go through and eat whatever's in my pantry. Like, majority of what's in my pantry is my boyfriend's. That's food that's off limits for me. So anyway, I did have to do some shopping, but I made sure that I didn't buy anything until the one that I had on hand was already used up, or if I needed a very specific ingredient to help me put a meal together. That's the only reason why I went shopping. But anyway, on one of these lovely little shopping trips, I got a shopping cart that I think an old lady had used before me and had mistaken her perfume for hand sanitizer, because the handle of the shopping cart, it reeked like this very floral and powdery perfume. It was terrible, and the smell stuck to my hands. I came home and my boyfriend was like, what the hell is that? He was very confused. I tried washing my hands several times. It did not come off. I looked online what to do. They recommended rubbing alcohol. So I was washing my hands in rubbing alcohol. I was washing my hands in witch hazel. I even made a baking soda and water paste to soak my hands in, and nothing was working. But then I saw that another thing you can do is to use unscented deodorant. I remembered I have some zero waste deodorant that was about to go to waste. Yes, I see the irony in that. But it was the zero waste deodorant that I had gotten on Etsy, and I liked it, but then I tried native deodorant and I liked that so much better. So this deodorant was just sitting there serving no purpose. It did serve a purpose though. I took a bunch of that and I rubbed it in my hands and played with it like it was Play-Doh. My hands by the end of it smelled more like shea butter and a tiny bit of lavender rather than like this strong, pungent old lady perfume. So that worked, and I was glad to be able to use up some of my otherwise wasted deodorant. I had to go to the office, and when I went in there, I noticed that I had some medication of mine. They were getting kind of close to expiration, so I made sure I took those home and used those up before opening new bottles of my medication. I ate leftovers that I got sick of. I ate leftovers for days and days and days in a row.
There were leftovers in the fridge.
You know, I could have froze some of that stuff and then used it later on in the month, but I was just trying to power through it. And that was probably the only downside of this challenge, was that like eating the same thing for that many days in a row got really old.
I should have taken before footage of my section of the freezer. It's usually filled with jars of sauces, soups, and leftovers, but this challenge has forced me to use up almost all of it. But to get a better idea of how much was used up, look at how many clean jars I now have. And it was towards the end of the month and I realized this was about to expire, so I had to hurry up and use that up before it went bad.
I had also planned on using up some of my old paints and some canvases that I created some artwork on that was less than ideal. It did not come out the way I wanted. I did not find the time for that in February, but that's still on my to-do list. Even though I'm not technically doing the challenge anymore, I feel like some of these things I'm still gonna do. I had some lotion that wasn't my Plain Products lotion, but it was almost empty. It needed to get used up, so I made sure I used up every last little drop of that before I used the rest of my other lotions. We have an abundance of these little notepads that have been sent to us from charities, and some of them only have like 1 or 2 pages on them, so I made sure I used those up before using a fresh new one. I had some paper in some of my notebooks that they served their purpose. They were no longer needed, but there was a few blank pages in there, so I ripped those out and I saved those to use later. As you guys know, I have some like non-sustainable shampoos and conditioners that I've had for eons, and I just keep them around for when guests are here because I don't really use those anymore, and maybe they're brands that my guests are more accustomed to, so I just leave those for my guests. But I was like, they're getting pretty old. I'm just going to use these up. So I have a bunch of shampoo bottles and a conditioner bottle in my shower that I'm trying to use up, and I'm even watering them down and getting every little bit out of them that I can before I buy any more plain products shampoo. And I know this isn't exactly along the same lines of a use it up challenge, but I have this box that the lid got damaged, and so the lid wouldn't sit straight, and it was driving me crazy. So instead of getting frustrated with it and throwing the whole box out and buying a new one, I decided to repair the lid, and it works good as new, and I didn't have to go out and buy more junk. So my takeaways from doing this challenge, let's see. I feel like I'm more aware now of my stuff. I'm being more conscious not to waste my products and food. I'm also being more resourceful and trying to think more creatively, like as far as making meals or other creative uses for things. There's several things that I started doing during this challenge that I'm gonna continue to do, like some of my cleaning supplies that I have not been able to use up in the month of February. I'm still gonna keep using them until they're gone. Even if they're ones that I don't really like, I'm using them up before I buy more cleaning products to replace them. And I feel like all of these challenges that I've done so far can form really healthy habits, unlike ones like the ice bucket challenge. Do you guys remember that ice bucket challenge? Are people still doing that? I hope not. It's just such a waste of water. There's no point to it. Like, I don't understand what it does. But anyway, if you remember that, maybe you've heard of the water bucket challenge, which is completely different. And this is a challenge that I think I might actually like to do. If you guys want me to do it, let me know in the comments below. Put a little bucket emoji in the comments, and that'll tell me that you want me to try this. The water bucket challenge is where you, for an entire day, can only use one bucket of water. That is for drinking, cooking, cleaning, bathing, flushing, watering plants, you name it, only one bucket of water. And this is to bring awareness, because there's a lot of places around the world where there is not easy access to water, where people have to hike miles with one bucket, fill it up at a river or something, and then hike it all the way back to their home, and that's what they've got to use for the day. So I think that would be a good challenge to try. I think it would take a lot of strategery, like a lot of planning to figure out exactly how I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm not gonna be able to use my bidet, because that would count as using up water outside of the bucket. There's just, yeah, I'm gonna have to plan a lot, but I think it would be fun. And that's all I've got for you today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below if you would like to see me do any other challenges. If you've got any suggestions, I am totally open to it. Don't forget to hit that little notification bell so that you know the next time I put out a video. Subscribe, like, it really helps the channel. Take really good care of yourselves, guys. Bye. So the dogs just freaked out, and they like knocked over my lights and my camera and everything. They are driving me insane today. Like, I don't know what is up with these little. The lighting is terrible. What happened? My dogs happened. That's what happened. Take number 15.